Anu, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Kiran Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, Community Institute of Management Studies. Uh, Community Institute of Management Studies, in association with Skilling India, we invite all the students, faculty members, and the speakers of this today's live webinar session. In association with Skilling India, we have a talk on self-confidence. So before we are getting into the webinar session, I would like to welcome all of you for this wonderful session. And I would like to give a brief introduction about our institution. Community Institute of Management Studies was established in the year 1956, imparting the quality education from more than 6 decades. CIMS B School was established in the year 2007. It is excellently located in the heart of the city, Jainagar, the locality which was designed by Sir M. Visvesvaraya and is one of the best planned layouts in Asia with a green lush campus. And Community Institute of Management Studies, Bangalore. It is one of the leading educational institutions in India, offering quality management education to future business leaders. So this is all about our introduction of our institution. So let us start this session by giving a quote. Always remain open to learn new things. If you don't learn, you don't grow. So it's my privilege and honor to welcome you all once again for the Skilling India webinar that is on self-confidence. Firstly, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Manish Chowdhury. Yes. Mr. Manish Chowdhury is a co-founder, Skilling India, former CEO of Tally Education. He's a CFO. He's a part of Tally Education Private Limited. It's a part of Tally Group of Company. While at Tally Education, Manish conceptualized and created the popular Tally certifications like Tally ACE, Tally Pro, and Tally Guru that become a benchmarks for all the candidates and the employer in terms of skill on domain as well as application. Almost 2 lakh students benefited from these certificates across 1,000 plus colleges, realizing that the students also require a strong sense of purpose, knowledge of organizational and career skills, as well as domain skills in various areas apart from Tally. Manish co-founded Skilling India to create an ecosystem not just to find jobs, but make leaders that succeed in their careers. Candidates can earn Skilling India as well as leading industry certification as a part of these programs. Sir studied biochemical engineering and biotechnology from IIT Delhi and then did MBA from IIM Bangalore. Sir has more than 20 years of experience across high growth enterprise in various facets of management, helping create and grow business both originally and by acquisitions. He joined ICICI Venture at the height of the first internet boom, where he invested in and managed a portfolio of companies in life science, retail, and internet space. Then he helped to create a life science business at Infosys and relocated to New York. He joined Apollo Health Street, a sister concern of Apollo Hospitals, and led acquisitions and corporate planning, eventually helping sell the company to a strategic investor. He's also relocated back to India in the year 2014 and took a short break to complete his CFA program from the CFA Institute USA before starting to work with the Tally. So it's my privilege to read out your profile, sir. Once again, on behalf of the CMS Institute, we welcome you for the program, sir. So now I would like to request Anusha ma'am to read out the one more speaker profile. Anusha ma'am, take over. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Kiran sir, for a wonderful introduction. So I welcome you. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all for this webinar. It's my privilege to introduce our speaker, Sandeep Gautam, who is a positive psychology, happiness, and a strength coach. So Sandeep Gautam is a Gallup certified strength coach, a 16 PF accredited practitioner, and a certified master trainer. He has conducted strengths based training and assessment for companies and has developed and delivered programs for high school students as well as college students. Sandeep is a global representative of an international positive education network and is passionate about applying positive psychology to educational and work domains. Prior to following his passion into the psychology, he had an illustration career spanning more than 16 years with the leading telecom software product development companies, including Cisco and Reliance. He has a couple of US patents as a result of that work. Sandeep has a BTech degree in computer science and engineering from IIT Delhi and has done an executive program in leadership and management from IIM Calcutta. Sandeep hopes to touch the lives of as many people as possible and leaves them touched for better than they were before. I welcome you all, sir, for the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So Manish, you want to take through the initial?
Thank you, Anusha ma'am. Thank you, Kiran sir. A very warm good afternoon to all the joinees from Community Institute of Management Studies. We have a full house on Zoom and more than 50 participants who have joined already on YouTube as well. So thank you for the warm turnout. This session will be conducted on self-confidence. My colleague Sandeep will cover that to a large extent. Before he does that, I want to just take a few minutes setting ground rules and introducing Skilling India. So in terms of the meeting guidelines, by default, all participants will be on mute. When you have a question, please raise hand or type it in the chat and we'll attempt to cover that. It'll take about 40 minutes to the presentation, about 15 minutes of Q&A. If Q&A is longer, we'll spend a little additional time as well. We'll provide a link towards the end of the session for your feedback, and this link will also be used to mark attendance. So make sure you are mentioning the exact name that you require in the participation certificate as well. This link will also be available to people who have joined us on YouTube, so they can also fill the attendance sheet, and they will also get the participation certificate. To benefit from this session, I think the key part is paying sincere attention, not get distracted with your mobile, and ask questions without any hesitation. The more you ask, the more you learn. We are here to answer all your questions in the best way possible. The structure of this presentation, sorry to say the importance of ethics, but it should be self-confident. So we'll talk about Skilling India, the learning platform, about self-confidence, and we'll go through a Q&A. So Skilling India as an organization is a new age skills development organization, team of professionals from IITs, IIMs, and other reputed institutions. And most of us have spent more than 20 years in different roles across the globe. And a lot of those learnings we try to bring to the students what we thought would have been useful if we had learned while we were still students. It would have helped us. Having seen a lot of other colleagues, reporting managers, people reporting into us, what they should have learned. And that's the journey that we are trying to bridge by ensuring that students, while they are still at college, are able to benefit from that. The organization is co-founded by me and Mr. Neeraj. And we are supported by a very strong team of advisors in spaces like technology, engineering, finance, IT, and healthcare. These are all people based in various locations. Sujit is based out of US, Prakash is based out of London, Suresh and Amitav are based out of Bangalore with us. Vijendra is based out of Dehradun. So there are people spread across various parts of the globe. And we have all come together really to spread love for learning and continuous skills development. The idea is, apart from being a better skilled person, we also become a skilled person with a purpose. I'll quickly skip this. We are based in Sarjapur Road, and we have a physical center in Vijayanagar. We conduct a number of skilling programs. We'll talk a little about that, but to our students, we offer internships and projects. We create a pattern of continuous learning by doing. Programs are conducted on our digital platform. A lot of you have joined directly through the digital platform on this workshop. There's a strong industry connect, personal counseling and mentoring, placement assistance, all delivered through industry expert trainers. So in terms of focus areas, I want to just spend time on right skilling, on employability skills, as well as organization and personal success skills. The broad idea is that the students not just become better employable, but also become enabled for being successful in what they are taking up. So giving them the right career exposure, the right tools and certifications, training around personal success and life skills apart from the domain becomes very critical. And when you look at components of a successful career, we are looking at different types of skills, personal mastery skills. We're looking at specialized skills which span across different streams, whether you are a commerce student or a BBA student or an art student. You can always get ahead with special knowledge around things like digital marketing, entrepreneurship, advanced Excel, and so on. Job-oriented skills, which are more focused on the domain. You have career success skills around goals, how to create goals, how to create good interview practice, communication skills, highly important, mental aptitude, logical reasoning. And most of these programs, they have certifications awarded by industry leaders. On our learning management system, there's a strong referral incentive program. And these incentives can be used to subscribe to any of the programs that we offer. Right now, we are conducting a series of complimentary workshops. These are free workshops being held every day at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. On the platform right now, we are offering 2 complimentary programs on active listening and internship opportunities. And I'll talk a little more, but first I want to hand over to Mr. Sandeep to cover the topic, and then I'll come back to how you can benefit from what you have learned. So as Mr. Sandeep takes over, the topic for the day is self-confidence. It is something which is relevant for every single person, whether they are students, whether they are faculty, and not just for the role that you will pick up at any point of time, but also to grow in that, to succeed in that, not just professionally, but also personally. So, over to Mr. Sandeep, and I'll come back with more details about Skilling India towards the end of the session. Sandeep, over
Thank you,
to
Mr. Manish. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manish. And I'll just take a moment to share my screen. So the topic for today is like self-confidence, and let's start with basically the fact that many of us, when we think about self-confidence, what we actually want to talk about is the feeling of low self-confidence that sometimes happens in our lives. So most of us in some of the situations do not feel like they are sufficiently self-confident. So why do you think that could happen? Like, and what are the common situations that you typically are facing in which your confidence is typically low? So what I'm doing is I'm launching the first poll of the day, and it is basically about in what situations you uh, feel a low confidence or a lower level of confidence. And like the options are public speaking, which is giving a speech or presentation, while participating in an interview, picking up a new skill like learning how to drive, while approaching strangers and making light conversations, when deciding about or thinking about your career goals, when preparing for a tough subjects exam, or when you need to ask questions in class to clarify your understanding. So right now, maybe some of you want to ask a question about the topic itself, but some of you might be very confident that you would be able to ask the question, while some of you may actually be feeling less confident. So I want to get a general sense of what situations actually give you a sense of uh, the fact that you are not confident enough, and that this situation really requires you to make an effort to be more consciously confident. So I can see some participation, but I would like much more participation. So these are all common situations in your life, right? You would be going through interviews, group discussions, maybe making some presentations in the class, maybe some of you would be picking up new skills. So whether you feel confident you'll be able to pick up those new skills, uh, talking to strangers, making light conversations, chit chats and all, whether you feel confident enough. So think about it. I'm giving like uh, 15 more seconds before I end the poll. So think about it and reflect and try to it will give us also a sense of where people actually struggle with the confidence issues. So seeing some very interesting trends here, and about 50%, less than 50% people have voted. I'm just extending the poll by just 10 more seconds uh, to get a more sense of participation. Okay, I'm ending the poll. So, and I'm sharing the results. So those on YouTube might not be able to see the results, but I'll just read out the summary of the results for their benefit. So public speaking has come out at a whopping 71% of all people believe that public speaking, giving a speech or presentation, is a situation in which people typically have a very low confidence or they face challenges related to self-confidence. Another 60% or so feel that while participating in an interview, they typically need to be more confident. They need to develop their confidence. And then there are other answers also, like while deciding or thinking about your future career goals. So many people are not really confident, and it is okay. I mean, it is okay not to feel very confident about the fact that what is your future going to look like. The future is continuously evolving, so you need to learn skills to be flexible and adaptable, but have the sense of confidence that yeah, I will be able to uh, uh, meet the future, whatever the future may look like. And definitely some of you struggle with challenges of asking questions in class to clarify your understanding. Like about 23% have said that. So all of these are like very important things to keep in mind. So while we typically think that only in public speaking situations confidence may be required, it is actually true that in all of these situations you may do well or you may do worse based on the fact whether you are confident or not. So definitely, if you want to do well in an interview, you would require some confidence. But so also you would require some confidence if you want to approach a stranger and maybe talk and initiate a conversation. Some of us find it difficult. Some of us feel that we might be rejected, we might be snubbed. So all those things also need to be kept in mind. So we look at that confidence is not just limited to certain situations, it is important in many other situations also. So let's look at another poll. Like some of you might have looked at or heard about certain other constructs which are similar to self confidence, like self esteem and self being introverted or self efficacy. So if you have heard of those terms, just let us know whether you think self confidence and self esteem are the same, whether you think self confidence and being introverted is the same. So, and whether you think self confidence and self efficacy are the same. If you are not aware of the terms, maybe you can use not sure. But otherwise, I would really like to see what you believe about the facts that whether these things are similar sounding and same or they are different. So I'll give around about 30 more seconds for people to participate. So please answer all the three questions. If you're not sure, you haven't heard of the term before, you can choose not sure. Otherwise, I would expect most of you to choose either yes or no. So some people are still continuing to vote. So I'm extending the time and another 5 seconds to make your mind. Okay, so about 60% of you have participated, and very surprisingly, while the first thing is more or less clear to many of you that self-confidence and self-esteem are not the same, people sometimes do mix up these things. Self-confidence and being introverted is considered more or less the same. Like in the first case, self-confidence and self-esteem, 50% people said that no, they are not the same. But like in low self-confidence and being introverted being the same, about 42% only said no, and 27% said yes. So there is some confusion regarding it. And again, people believe that self-confidence and self-efficacy are not the same, although a majority of you do not have heard what self-efficacy means. Like 41% are not sure, which is okay. But so we'll take a brief look at what these things mean to avoid the confusion. So let's first look at self-confidence versus self-esteem. So self-esteem is basically this feeling of self-worth, that is how good you feel about yourself. So it is independent of what you actually do or what you believe you are capable of doing. So it's an internalized feeling about, okay, I am worthy or I am good enough. So if you think that you're worthy and good enough, you have a very high self-esteem. If you believe you are not worthy, good enough, you lack capacity or you lack worthiness as a human being itself, then you lack self-esteem and you have a very low level of that quality. That is not that much tied to how confident you feel in a situation or how confident you feel about your own abilities to accomplish something. So these two things are different. Similarly, if we look at self-confidence and introversion, again, it's very important to know that introversion is like a preference for spending time alone, having a quiet nature, and of generally feeling depleted when you are interacting a lot with other people. So that's why there's a preference to spend time alone in leisure activities like reading books or those other activities where you don't need to interact. It doesn't mean you cannot interact or you lack confidence while interacting with other people. It's just a choice of preference. So again, the capability may exist. So a person may be very self-confident and introverted, and some extroverted person who actually likes to mix with a lot of people still might not be feeling confident. So again, these two things are sort of different. So I hope you're till me with this, because this is very important to understand. People typically mix their shy or introverted nature, and shy again is a different thing, introverted is a different thing. But all this nature should not be confused with feelings of low self-confidence. You can be introverted, you can still take pride in the fact that you are introverted, and be very self-confident when you're approaching situations, people, tasks, anything which requires confidence to be at display. So what exactly do we mean by self-confidence? So let's just take a moment to reflect on it. Like it is the belief in one's ability to do something. So it's not the ability to do something. You may or may lack the ability to do something, but it is your belief that if you really put your mind to it, you would be able to do it. Like my self-confidence might be that, okay, if I really want to climb Mount Everest, I'll be able to do that. So that might be the sort of self-confidence I have if I have been a mountaineer doing mountaineering for some time. And again, if it is based on facts, then it is a realistic self-confidence. If it is not based on actual facts, it might be overconfidence or things like that also. But it's a belief, not the real ability. Whether I actually climb Mount Everest or not is not relevant to the fact, but whether I believe that I can do that task or not, that is what self confidence is like. Like when you're going to give an interview, whether you will be successful in the interview, whether you will get selected or not, that may or may not be in your hand. That might be dependent on many other circumstances, but the belief that you will be able to crack the interview and get selected, that belief is the self-confidence, and that has many positive benefits. If you go in an interview with the assumption that I will not be able to speak well, I'll not be able to present myself well to the interviewers, then you are definitely going to fail or at be a disadvantage. But if you go with this strong belief that, yeah, I know that I will be able to present myself in the best possible light to the interviewers, then you will be able to make a good impression and would be able to convince them that you are the right candidate for that particular position or for that particular role. So that is how important self-confidence is. And when it's a generic belief that you can do most things and cope with most challenges that life throws at you, then that generalized belief is called self-confidence. Like, it is independent of situation, independent of tasks. So that would be a generalized self confidence, but what we would like to more focus on is self efficacy, which is like confidence in a particular situation or a particular context. Like, I might be very confident that if I'm a sports person, that I can beat many people when in badminton, because badminton is my forte. It's a game that I play well. But I might not be confident of beating others in basketball, because that is not a game that I play very regularly. So I'm not confident in that domain. So even within sports, I might show confidence in one situation and lack of confidence in another situation. So that is important to remember. So again, taking another example, you may be confident while giving presentations in front of large crowds and all, but become tight-lipped when talking to a person of opposite sex. So that might be that you might be very confident in one situation, but in another situation you might really lack confidence. So it is situational, and you need to see in which situations you are lacking confidence and what you can do to increase your confidence in that particular situation or task. And you can apply the learnings from one task or situation to the other situation. Like, how did I develop confidence to give presentations? Did I practice a lot? Did I give a lot of presentations, got a lot of feedback that I incorporated, and that's why I'm now a good presenter? Can I apply the same thing while talking to a girl? Can I try talking more, getting to know them better, getting feedback about how I'm communicating, and use that to become good at communicating with them? So that is how you can increase your confidence from one domain to another. So why do we sometimes have low self confidence? Again, something that we should ponder about, that what are the reasons. I mean, most of you have in the poll had mentioned that for some situation or the other you did feel a bit of low self confidence. So to what you can you trace your low self confidence? I'm launching a poll again, and here, for the benefit of those on YouTube, I'm also listing down what are the typical reasons why we might end up with having low self confidence. It might be we have a history of facing failures, trauma, bad events, which have caused us to internalize and become like low self confidence, have low self confidence. It might be that our parents or brother, sister, etc. belittled us by saying you won't amount to anything or something like that. Socialization during the early childhood, which has left an impact. It might be that we were bullied in school, college, workplace. People acted harshly towards us, and again, it has broken our confidence. It can be because of our social class, economic background. Sometimes we internalize the fact that, okay, I don't have good clothes or things like that, and that impacts our like confidence in many situations. uh, it could be because of advertisers influence. Again, advertising has a strong influence on us. We think that if we don't have the latest smartphone, or the we are not using the latest deodorant, we are not appearing confident as the person in the ad appears confident. And then maybe some might not find any of these situations to be relevant. So whatever it is, please answer that if you do feel low self confidence in certain situations, what could have been the reasons for that? Do some reflection. So I'm providing a little more time for this poll, do some reflection and think that what could be the reason. Why do we end up with low self-confidence? And you can think about yourself, and you can also think about other people also, what in general could be affecting other people. Although if you answer in terms of yourself, that would be a better answer. So I'm like giving another 10 seconds before I close the poll. So I'm assuming those who are saying none of the above either have a different reason for their low self-confidence, or they don't have low self-confidence. They are typically having high self-confidence in across the situations. So about 50% have voted, and voting is still going on. So giving another 10 seconds. Okay, closing the poll and sharing the results. So very interesting. The first and foremost thing that has come up is like facing failure, trauma, or bad events in the past. A very large number, 35% of you believe that because of the failure in the past, you have become like less self-confident. And that is true in a sense. If a string of failures keep happening, people might internalize it that okay, they cannot do good in life, and that's why they become like, if you are presenting and maybe you make a mistake, uh, you will maybe, and people jeer at you or laugh at you, then that may actually make you shy of trying that out again, and that will actually cause you to basically become less and less proficient at that activity and lose your confidence there. And then like around 17% also have said that because of your social class, economic background, etc., you may have internalized the stigma. And this is again a very unfortunate thing, that because of our class or background, we sometimes internalize things that maybe we are deficient in a certain sense, although that is not true. So I mean, we need to work on these things, and we need to create the right environment for people around us also. Like if someone is experimenting or trying something and failing, we should appreciate them for the effort that they are making, and not jeer them, for example, if they make a mistake in a presentation, but let's say cheer them on so that they are able to build on their self confidence. Similarly, if they are of a different social background than us, then again we should not let that hamper or hinder their self confidence. So where does self confidence come from? Some of us do have a lot of self confidence. So how have they developed it? So one of the reasons people have self confidence is that the more we have required skills for the task, like for example, giving a presentation, if we have the required skills to give a presentation and have practiced a lot, maybe we have got a lot of opportunities to present in front of large audiences, then the more confident we will feel. So the more opportunities we get, the more the skills we have in that domain, the more confident we feel. And the more confident we feel, the more we are likely to indulge in that activity. So if I'm confident that I can give presentation to a lot of people, I'm more likely to sign up for those programs and give that presentation. And maybe because of my confidence, I'll also give a better presentation, and I will get a better output or result also. And the more we excel at a task, the better we are at a task, the more our confidence gets a boost. So if I did give a good presentation, then my confidence will get a boost, and I will become more self confident about that situation, right? And the more confident we feel about anything, the more we are like to practice or indulge in it. So we have come full circle. So what comes first, the skills or the confidence? Just take a moment to think about it. This is like a chicken and egg problem, that what comes first? Does the confidence comes first, or the competence or skills come first? So if you see, there is a competence confidence loop, a virtuous cycle which we talk about, that slowly, like it's like learning to ride a bicycle. Initially you will fail, your competence will be low, your confidence will also be low. Maybe you will just ride a cycle while your parent is near. Once you have learned a bit, your confidence grows up and your ability also grows up simultaneously, and you will be more likely to venture forth in, let's say, the society in which you are. Think back in your childhood, something like this might have happened, so you would be more confident to ride in the society premises. Again, when you practice more in the society premises, your confidence increases, and then you maybe venture out outside the society in the non-busy roads, and thereby increase your confidence and competence at the same time. So these go hand in hand together. So definitely you can, the only way to learn skills or get better at something is by having confidence, and you will not be able to learn something until and unless you stretch a bit and become a little bit more confident than what your actual skills are. Like, let's say my current skills are that I can talk to, present to a audience of 100 people. Now if I have an opportunity to present to 120 people, if I have the confidence that I can do present to maybe 20 more students also, then that is what my confidence will lead me to take part in that presentation, and when I deliver it successfully, then my competence also increases. So don't shy away from failures. That is one message, if you can take it from this thing, because that is the only way to increase your competence, trying things out. Now what I want you to also think about is, think of a few self-confident related myths and whether they are actual. So myths are like not true things, and reality is like true things. So just think about these 6 statements which are coming on your screen and which are launched in a poll also. Like, which of these are true and which of these are false, and if you are not sure about it, just choose not sure. So the first is, you need to be born confident. So either you are born confident or you are not born confident. Second is, you can fake confidence. Third is, you have to be successful to be confident. Fourth is, confident people can have insecurities. Fifth is, confidence means you like public speaking. And sixth is, you have to take big risks to be confident. So please think about this for a moment and choose the options. Like, what do you think is true and what do you think is false? Quite a decent participation, but I'm still waiting for others to also participate.
And there's while you are waiting, it's also a request to people who have joined us on YouTube. They can answer or give their comments in chat, so that you are also participating in everything that's happening here.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Manish, for that. So giving 10 more seconds and ending the poll now. So here are the results, and we look at each of these myths one by one. So you need to be born confident. Now, about 52% of you have said no, you don't need to be born confident, and that is what the reality is also like. You don't need to be born confident. You can learn the skills to be confident. And if you ever feel the need for that, I mean, we are coming up with self-paced programs, and workshops are there to help you increase your confidence. Second is, you can fake confidence, and that is reality. So what do we mean by that? You can fake it till you make it. So you can try to act like confident, and although you might in the inner skin, under your skin, you might be feeling a lot non-confident, but you can still fake confidence that, okay, I'm calm, serene, everything is under control. And that will actually help you. That will help you build genuine confidence. So that is not a myth, that is a reality. Although 66% of you believe that no, you cannot fake confidence, you can fake confidence, you can do a pose, power posing and all, which we'll look in a moment. You have to be successful to be confident. So again, that is not uh, true. uh, Again, 60% of you approximately thought that you have to be successful to be confident, but you can be confident and still struggling underneath about your own skills and your performance issues. But then you can be confident that, okay, if I do put in efforts, I will finally succeed. So while you are struggling, while you are not succeeding, still you can be confident that I will succeed ultimately. Then confident people can have insecurities. 40% of you said no, but and 35% said yes. But confident people can have insecurities. They can be insecure in certain situations. Like all people, they do have insecurities, but then still, despite that, they choose to do certain things. So nothing is guaranteed in life. But confident people will say that, okay, I'll still venture out, I'll still take a risk. The fifth question was, confidence means you like public speaking. Again, that is not true. It doesn't necessarily mean that you like public speaking, but it does mean that you can do public speaking if required to, because you're confident about it. You're confident in general about your abilities. You may not like it. You may, whenever you speak in public, you may actually be feeling quite uncomfortable, but because of your confidence, you'll be able to deliver that workshop or presentation or speech, whatever is required of you. So you don't have to like a thing to be confident about it, but confidence will definitely help you make an impact. And the last question was, you have to take big risks to be confident. But the reality is, you can actually, and again, most of the people have answered, it was an even split, like half answered yes, half answered no. But the reality is, you can become confident by taking small risks, by keeping to uh, stretching yourself using just beyond your comfort zone. So just stretch beyond your comfort zone, and you will stretch your abilities by a bit, and thereby boost your confidence by a bit also. So important to keep in mind these self confidence related facts and realities, because otherwise the myths can do you a lot of harm. So how do we develop self confidence if it is so important, and uh, it impacts so many areas of life? So we'll take a brief look at some of the methods to develop your self confidence. One is challenging your thoughts and interpretations. So sometimes our mind, our negative self talk, uh, hampers our confidence. We have a lot of doubts about our abilities, whether we are doing things right or not, whether we are capable or not. So we can learn to challenge those thoughts, and we'll take a look in depth into it in a moment, how we can challenge our thoughts and what do we exactly mean by that. The other is, whenever these self doubtful thoughts come in your mind, that no, you'll not be able to do this, you'll not be able to get selected in this interview, let the doubt pass through like a cloud is passing through the sky. So you observe it, you say, but you are not the only reality, and you are not the only truth. There are other truths that are waiting to be discovered. So don't get caught up in your own self talk, which is negative. So just let it pass. Third tip or third method of developing self confidence is that sometimes things do cause a bodily reaction. Like if you are speaking in front of thousands of people in a live audience, many of us will feel a very excited, energized, nervous sort of situation. Now this aroused state of situation can be interpreted as nervousness also, and the fact that, okay, you are feeling jittery and like not too confident. Or you can feel it as that getting excited, I'm about to launch into a very good and exciting speech which will be well received. So you can see it as a state of exhilaration. So it all depends on how you are viewing your bodily state. So you can, the same bodily state can lead you to feelings of more confidence. using power posing, etc., is very important. So body language is very important. Whenever you feel, instead of, let's say, using slouched pose or something, if you are more like straighten your backs and your head is also straightened, then you will feel a different sense of confidence. Well, if you just slouch your shoulders, and like, you'll automatically feel that energy difference in you. So that is, some small things like these can be very important, and we'll take a detailed look on this also, body language, how we can use body language to be more self confident. We can learn and get inspired by positive role models around us. Like, if we take examples of children, when they are learning to ride a bicycle, they look at other children around them who are actually riding the bicycle, and they know that it is possible for them also to do that. They draw inspiration from that, they learn from how they are doing, and they know that, yeah, I can also do it. Similarly, you can look at other people who are like your friends, your relatives, your colleagues, maybe celebrities, who are actually doing things that you want to do, and take inspiration from them, that okay, if they can do it, so can I also. Maybe I just need to use the strategies and techniques that they use. And you constantly need to test and stretch your abilities. So remember the competence confidence loop. The more you stretch your abilities and increase your competence, the more your confidence will automatically get boosted. But for that, you have to keep trying. You have to keep constantly going beyond your comfort limit. So that becomes very important. And positive self talk or affirmations before any major thing where you think that might cause low self confidence, like we talked about in the initial thing, situations like giving a presentation, or maybe going for an interview. You can just do some positive self talk. Yeah, I will be able to do this, I have it within me to do this. So all that positive self pumping talk actually does help. So using affirmations and positive self-talk can help in a big way with the confidence issues if you're facing any. And again, it might be situational. You might be very confident in one situation. In another situation, you might like to use one or more of these techniques to become more self-confident. So let's look at one of the major things regarding this. Like, we take an example, you approach a girl while passing by in college and say hi, and she doesn't respond. Now you might have many thoughts. One of the thought might be, she must not like me, I'm such a loser. What reactions or emotions does that generate in you? You feel sad and disappointed. Another thought, maybe she must not have seen me, maybe she just missed seeing the fact that I said hi to her. And then your reaction would be more or less neutral. Another might be that she's arrogant, she doesn't respond at all to people saying hi and all those things, and then you might become angry. Your reaction might be angry. So which of these reactions would be much more helpful to sustain your relationships, or to enable you to be more confident in the future to, let's say, hi again to that same girl or to another girl? Maybe it's the neutral interpretation. So anything can be interpreted in multiple ways. If you're thinking like, she is not liking me, I'm a loser, nobody, no girl ever likes me or says, returns hi back to me, challenge those thoughts. Where is the evidence whether that is always true? If not, then maybe there might have been some other reason. Maybe she didn't see me and that's why she's not returned my hi or greeting. So then you are more likely to approach her or other girls in the future also for friendships or for small talk. So try to see things from a more helpful perspective. Try to challenge your thoughts, your negative self talk, and that can boost up your confidence in a big way. So think about a situation where you have been facing a challenge, and try to see what thoughts you have been generating, what reactions they have been leading, and how you can challenge the thoughts and create an alternate thought so that the reaction is much more beneficial for you. Another way is like stretching limits, continuing to stretch your limits, or continuing to basically move forward, continuing to move out of your comfort zone. Let's say you want to attend networking events, but have a fear of interacting with strangers. So you are not very comfortable approaching strangers and talking with them, but you do want to benefit from networking events because maybe you are starting a new startup and you need to get funding or co-founders and things like that. So just imagine whatever situation is, but you need to attend some networking events and you are like fearful of interacting with strangers. You're not very comfortable. So what you can do is, like, in the first week, you can set a small target. You can go to a networking event with someone you know and then just stay there for 30 minutes. Do nothing, just stay there, see how everyone is interacting. So that itself could be a big achievement for you. In the second week, you can go to an event with someone, introduce yourself to at least one new person. So that could be your goal for the second week, that I'll attend another event, but this time I'm going to introduce to one person also. Continue stretching the goal. In week 3, introduce yourself to 3 new people in the new event that you go to. In week 4, go to an event by yourself. Don't go with a company. So you will maybe feel uncomfortable a bit that you don't have someone whom you know, but greet everyone you have met earlier and introduce yourself to 3 new people. And in week 5, go to an event by yourself, introduce to 5 new people, and try to set up a meeting, one-on-one meeting with one of them, and so on and so forth. So I guess you're getting the idea that how can you become confident. Now at each of these steps, there might be success. I mean, when you introduce yourself to at least one new person, that person may respond well to you, or there might be failure also. The person might actually just say a superficial hi hello and move on. So again, it will depend on how you take failure or rejection to boost your self confidence. But in most likelihood, if you don't even try, then you are more likely to remain low self confidence and low competence. But if you keep trying, maybe your confidence will get a boost, because eventually you will start getting success in the particular task that you want to do. Okay, so here is another poll. Consider I'm in the middle of this workshop or any other workshop, and I make a blunder, I've forgotten something, and I need to basically take a break, maybe revise my content and come back again. So, what would your response to me be like? What would you say to me? And be very frank in your opinion. So how would you respond? Like, for example, right now, if there was a major glitch and I was not able to do something, explain something, so I took a break, maybe after 5 minutes I returned and explained it to you. So what would you do? What are your thoughts? What would you try to say to me? So I'm seeing some participation, but there can be more. Like about 40% of you have participated. There can be much more participation. And for those in YouTube, please type in your answers. What do you think? Option 1, 2, or 3, which would you choose? What would be your reaction or response? So I'm ending the poll in another 10 seconds. Okay, I'm ending the poll. And here are the results. What would you guess before sharing the results? I mean, here are the results. Almost 73% of you, 75% of you say that you did well, learn from this to prevent it in the future. So you would see it as a learning, not as a failure as such for me. And that despite the fact that I goofed up, I actually came back and again started again. So you would appreciate it. About 17% say that it's not a big deal, forget about it. So combined together, 90% are saying that, okay, it's not a big deal. You did well, you learned something from this, try to prevent it in future, but it's okay in a way. Only 10% are saying it's a huge mistake and shouldn't have happened in the first place. Now consider, and this is when you are mostly strangers to me. Consider if you were my friends, maybe the percentage would have been even higher. Maybe 100% of you would have fallen in the first two categories. Nobody would have said that it's a huge mistake, shouldn't have happened in the first place. Now consider the same, that you made this mistake. So, right? So you made this mistake yourself. You were presenting. Now, what would you say to yourself? Would you say it's okay, it's not a big deal, forget about it? Or whether your tone would be more like it's a huge mistake, shouldn't have happened in the first place, how did you goof up, how can you be so stupid, irresponsible, why didn't you practice better, why didn't you know your content better? So the whole idea I'm trying to say is, and it's a thought experiment, I'm not launching a poll here, but if you had to launch a second poll, you would know that most of the you would say that pick the third option, because we are not very kind to ourselves when it comes to failures, mistakes, and all that learning opportunities. We are kind and more considerate to others. So that is one thing that we need to reverse. We need to be open with failures. So that what I think is crux of being confident, that you are comfortable with your own failures. You still want to try things, and you make room for failures. So again, reflect. What do you generally do when you make mistakes? Do you think that there's hope for improvement, or do you think that you are doomed and you have been exposed? So if you are making mistakes and failing, then you are doing good. If you are not failing, probably you are not trying well enough, and you'll not be able to boost your confidence to a level which would be required for taking on greater challenges. So continue to make small mistakes and keep failing, but keep learning from them. People typically see the success that we have achieved or others have achieved. They don't see the rejections that have happened, the effort that has gone in, the failures that we have survived. So that is like the iceberg. People just see that, okay, he's a confident person, he appears very confident, but they don't know that maybe at times, for example, if you talk about a great presenter who is giving a great presentation, and you that appears very smooth and connecting well with the audience, but maybe initially when he had tried, he might have faced a lot of failure, a lot of jeering by the people, maybe his hands were shaking when he first presented, but he continued. So that continuing of journey is very important. And when you continue down the path, when you continue making efforts, putting in going ahead despite failures, that is when your confidence keeps growing and developing, because you are eventually going to taste success. You will keep tasting success also. So here I want to share a quote with Michael Jordan. Maybe many of you would already be familiar with it. Like, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been asked to take the game winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So he has a lot of confidence, which is rightly deserved, and success also, but that is a result of keeping on trying and failing and not shying away from taking the opportunities. So again, inviting you to think of the last instance when you made a mistake or failed at something, and reflect on the questions below. Like, where did things get off track? What did you learn from this situation? And how can you plan to apply those learnings in a positive direction? So it's very hard for us to think about failures, reflect on something where we did not do well, but that is also important, to reflect and learn from them, so that you know that, okay, I've already learned. Like Edison famously said, I know 1,000 ways how not to make a bulb. So that is his confidence, that now he's confident that at least 1,000 ways are there which he doesn't need to experiment more. There are maybe just a few more that he needs to discover to make the right way of making a bulb. So what are these confidence traps? Some of us fall into certain confidence traps. One of these traps is like the imposter syndrome. The success that we achieve after so much hard work, so much failures and rejection, sometimes we feel that that success is undeserved. We doubt as to how we have succeeded finally, and we feel like we are an imposter or a fraud. We will be found out and we won't be able to repeat the success, and that becomes a limitation that sort of derails our confidence. So we need to be on guard against these thinking that okay, I'm a fraud, I'll be found out, maybe the success was by a fluke and it will not be permanent. So how can we take care of this? First thing is to feel that okay, many people feel like this. Many successful people feel like they are an imposter, they are a fraud, and they might be found out anytime. So this is normal. But to counter that, what you can do is make a list of your achievements, that yeah, I have succeeded so much, and these are the times when I have acted confidently. And make just like a to-do list, make a I did it list, that I did this and this also, I did this and this also. So whenever you are having a self-doubt that okay, whether I'm capable, whether I'm confident, just read those lists and you'll again have the strength in you, that yeah, I am able to do things, I have been able to do things, and I will be able to do things in the future also. So don't fall into this confidence trap that okay, I was successful, or I did, maybe I gave a good presentation once, but that was by fluke, and maybe next time I'm again, when I'm on stage, it's again the same fear or pressure on me. Then you can increase confidence by your body language also. So make eye contact with people while you're talking. That gives assurance to people that you're not shying away from conversation, you know your stuff and things like that. Keep back straight and head up. Do not slouch or try to occupy all the available space that is available to you. Give firm handshakes. So again, that indicates a sense of confidence. Smile often and be at ease. So you don't always need to be I mean, once you are smiling and at ease with yourself, that shows that you are much more centered and confident. Nod and show signs of engagement when you're talking with people. So that again shows that you are like listening and into it, and like not just trying to respond with your own agenda. So when you're nodding and showing signs of engagement, then you appear more confident. People who are less self-confident, they'll be thinking about themselves only. How am I going to speak? What am I going to speak next? So don't fall into that trap. Don't cross your arms and legs. So these are all basic tips, like don't shuffle but place feet firmly on ground while, for example, presenting or on stage or things like that. Similarly, don't fidget, play with your hairs, click your pen or things like that. So those things convey lack of confidence, and you should try to avoid it. You can learn to avoid it. So these are small body language and related tips which you can take into some do's and don'ts to appear more confident. And again, I said fake it till you make it. So once you actually smile, even if it's a fake smile, you will genuinely start feeling more happy and relieved, and that will boost your confidence. You can mirror expressions and movements of other people also to have a better like coordination with them, understanding with them. Last thing I want to touch is like overconfidence. That confidence is good, but sometimes people become overconfident also. Their confidence is not backed by the skills that they have, and that can become very harmful or risky. That can lead to decisions that are more harmful and risky, not only for themselves but for others also. Like if you are very overconfident about the fact that you won't get COVID, you might be doing all sort of harmful and risky behavior, like not wearing the mask, not maintaining social distancing and all. And that overconfidence can lead to risks for yourself as well as others. So that is one example, but there are many other relevant examples also. So tips to avoid being overconfident: be humble, know that there are other people also who are more knowledgeable than you, and you should listen to them. Keep learning. So the more you keep learning, the more you know that there's more to know, and that leads you to just being confident and not being overconfident. Similarly, take advice, mentoring from those who are in a journey above you or who have been further ahead in the path than you. So always take advice and mentoring from them. So that also avoids the pitfall of overconfidence. And these are the tips for increasing confidence, which I want to end with. So be nice to yourself. It's okay not to feel confident always. So not in all situations you will feel confident. So that is perfectly fine. In some situations you will feel a lot of confidence. Just learn from that and apply in the other situations. Make a plan. If you are prepared for certain situations, then you will be much more confident to tackle those situations. So always prepare a plan or have a plan for everything in life. Be grateful when you are able to do things and achieve well in life. So again, if you are more conscious of the fact that you are doing well and you are achieving well and you are also grateful for those things, then you are much more likely to be confident in your abilities. But if you ignore all the good things that are happening in your life, the occasions when you have actually been confident and achieved success, then you are likely to not reap benefits of that. Always remember the times when you have succeeded in past. Whenever you are feeling low in self confidence, make a list systematically or otherwise. Just reflect on the times when you were actually successful in the past. Be conscious of your posture and adjust it for better. So time to time check whether you are like slouching again, or whether you are firm and your head is, you are in a power pose sort of situation when you require the confidence boost. Breathe deeply and center yourself. Again, when you are feeling anxious or like very low in self and self doubtful, then do some deep breathing, center yourself to calm yourself, because once you are more calm, then you are better able to be confident. And dress appropriately for occasions. Like if you are going for an interview and you are expected to wear a tie or something like that, and if you are not wearing it, maybe you'll feel a lot of self consciousness and loss of self confidence because of that. So whatever is required for a particular situation, if you dress accordingly, you will also feel a lot of good. Otherwise you might be feeling good internally, but because of the external things you might defocus and sort of lose your confidence. And then seek support and encouragement from people around you. So it need not be a lonely game that you have to be self confident all by yourself. You can ask for support and help from family, friends. Like while you're practicing for a presentation, seek their feedback so that they are able to provide you guidance where to improve, what not to do, what to do, and all that can lead you to become more confident. And again, fake it till you make it. Act as if you know how to do it, and then you will be able to do it. So with that, I just want all of you to reflect and maybe type in the chat box also what is one major learning you have taken from the day that you can apply. So a time of reflection. What did you learn today, and how can you apply it in your life? If you could just reflect on that a bit. What is a new thing that you have learned, whether it be like confidence tips, or whether it be like challenging your negative thoughts, so that doing positive self talk or affirmations, or letting the thoughts pass away whenever self doubt arises. Whatever it is, one thing that has stood out, if you can type in the chat box, I would be really grateful. And uh, uh, those on the YouTube can also participate. And with that, I want to thank you for your participation and for your attention. And there are many online self-paced courses and psychoeducation programs that we have at learn.skillingindia.in, where you will be able to find programs around everything. And we'll be releasing a program on self-confidence also soon, where people can learn at their own pace how to increase their confidence. And you can write to us, you can connect to us on social media. And I would like to hear any questions and answers also, any queries you have. So uh, the floor is open for any questions and answers. So you can type in the chat box, and we can basically take up any questions that you might have. So learning from failure was one thread, which is like many people have identified that that is one area that they have learned uh, in this session. Avoiding overconfidence, planning before we do, accepting the failure. So very good. A lot of learning people have made it. Fake it till you make it. To do list to I did it list. So yeah, so I'm very happy that many of you are would actually be applying these techniques, and whenever you feel low confidence in a particular situation. So thanks a lot for that. So are there any questions? I like this in particular. Failure is not the last. After failure, there will be more ways to go ahead for future successes. So Sumati has shared it, and I think it resonates very well. I mean, our late president Abdul Kalam had like said, redefined fail as first attempt in learning. So it's very important to keep things in perspective, not let it affect your self confidence in a negative way, but actually help it to boost your confidence.
Sandeep, there are a couple of responses from YouTube which I've shared
Okay.
from Pavan and Renuka.
Yeah.
There's a question from Yatisha: how to be not losing self-confidence in present situation.
Yeah. So again, there are two things here. One is optimism also, which is quite relevant for the current situation. I believe you are referring to the COVID pandemic, right? So we need to have this sense of optimism or hope that things will turn out well, and we will finally maybe find a vaccines are already being trialed and all. So within a we need to keep our optimism and hope high that soon this phase will end. So that is one way. And regarding losing self confidence in present situation, again, yeah, I mean, if you are not very optimistic and hopeful, that might impact your confidence that, okay, can I achieve things in this situation also? With online learning, will I be able to learn? So there might be some sort of legitimate concerns, but you can boost your confidence by seeing that, okay, humanity has survived these sort of pandemics earlier also, although it was not to this scale. So that could boost your self confidence in your abilities and the society's abilities, that we will triumph and we will keep triumphing. I don't know whether I've answered it correctly, Yatisha, or whether it's in that sense you meant. So Deepak asks, is self confidence a major reason for depression in people? So I won't say self confidence, but self esteem, which we discussed earlier. Low self esteem is related a lot to depression. So when you don't feel good about yourself, when you feel you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough, then you get depressed. So self confidence per se might not be that correlated with depression, but self esteem is this feeling that I'm not worthy, I'm a failure, I'm not a good person, or I'm not a like I don't matter. Those sort of feelings are definitely related with depression. So Pooja asks how to stay calm when one is aggrieved or angry and not strike into wrong conversation. Okay, so basically, if you want to when you are aggrieved or angry, the best strategy is typically to not react to the situation, but respond later. Maybe count till 10, do some deep breathing, things like that. So that is how you can avoid getting into a confrontation there and then. So give yourself a timeout before you take up the matter again with the person with whom you are aggrieved or angry. So that is a general technique for managing your anger or not getting into difficult conversations at a moment's notice.
This is excellent, participants. Thank you for being such good audience. Sandy, you want to take this last question?
Yeah, Shaikh Naeem says how to face the situation by not getting hyper and tensed. So again, you can always practice some relaxation, deep breathing techniques in the situation if you don't want to get tensed, and basically just take a few deep breaths. That itself relaxes. Why does it do that? Because our body has two modes. It has either a sympathetic mode where we are into the fight and flight mode, where we are stressed and tense by a situation and hyper in a situation, or there's this parasympathetic system which is like more calm, relaxed, and they are opposite to each other. So if you try to take deep breaths, try to slow down your thinking and whole physiology, then that will actually counter the getting hyper or tense in that particular situation. So just do those small things. Maybe just close your eyes, do count till 10, take some deep breaths, just relax, try to relax your muscles, do a body scan. So things like that can actually make you very easily overcome the tenseness of the situation.
Okay. So I also want to quickly highlight one thing which came out very clearly in this session for the benefit of all participants. See, all of these skills, the reason why we are calling them skills is that they are all learnable. And I'll just walk through the few additional slides which I had so that people can understand how easily they can be learned. Okay. And if there are questions, we can take them up after this. Okay. So we have talked about these workshops that we are having, and there are 3 of them happening every day. So you can join a different workshop each day. Or if you want to join 2 in a day, that's also fine. You can register at the link at the bottom. It's bit.ly/mhfitworkshops. I've shared a link in the chat also earlier. You can download the Skilling India Learn app. A lot of these skills are learnable. There are self-paced videos that we have created that you can learn from your mobile app directly. And there are internship opportunities that we are offering which students can participate in. So this is one internship opportunity about what we call as our campus ambassador program. We're looking at 2-month duration minimum and minimal commitment of about an hour a day is what should get you through the program easily. You'll get a chance to get all our programs at half price, have attractive earning opportunities. Very importantly, you'll be an agent of change to your circle. And we have ambassadors working with us from a number of colleges across the country, so you'll have an exposure of interacting with students from different parts of the country as well. To the students and webinar participants, you can use the coupon CIMS for an additional 15% off on any programs as a special benefit to the participants here. And if you're registering through your friend's referral code, you'll have the 200 rupees credit in your wallet, as we talked about earlier. We have a special coupon code for 6 programs, which you can So quick action items for everyone. You can follow Skilling India on whatever social media you use. In the LMS, there's a small button called Add Review. You can click that and leave your comments there. And you should fill your attendance sheet. If you remember in the beginning, I mentioned that please mark your attendance. This will serve as a feedback form as well as attendance sheet for us. And we'll share this attendance data with the college, and on their approval, we'll share the participation certificates with everyone. So back to Q&A, and I just want to share the link for the attendance form in chat so that everyone has that readily.
Yes, sir. Hello.
So we are back to questions, and if there are any questions, we'll be happy to take them. Otherwise, we are just on time to close, so we can do that as well.
Students, if you have any questions, please write it in the chat box so that sir will answer your question.
So there is one question on YouTube, and there are actually 2 questions. I'll read them out. One is from Ms. Renuka. So Sandeep, the question is how to be confident when one is surrounded by challenging people. And another is from Mohan saying, overconfidence, is it right or wrong?
Yeah, so let me address the second question first. Overconfidence is definitely harmful in many situations. So that, I mean, some overconfidence is okay, but if it becomes extreme, then definitely it is harmful, because then it makes you take risks or make decisions which are not really helpful for everyone around you. So that is why it's important to guard against overconfidence, but don't be, some sort of overconfidence, a little bit is okay. You can't actually measure that this is the right amount of confidence or this is like slightly over or slightly under. But if there's a major discrepancy in what you can do and what you believe you can do, then there is some problem. So that is where you need to be cautious. So that was the first answer. The second answer, when you're surrounded with challenging people, uh, you can still be confident. You might be around like negative people, you might be people who actually do not help or support you. So in that case, you have to learn to be confident in your own skin, in your own way, without actually relying on people. So if you can rely on other people for help and support, very good. If you cannot, you can still be confident. Like it can be a lonely journey also. If you have support available, then it's very well. But if it is not, that should not limit you. So even while you're surrounded by negative people, you can still be optimistic. Even while surrounded by, let's say, people who are sad, you can still be happy. So similarly, when you are surrounded by challenging people, you can still choose to be confident and choose to not get downed away, drowned by the other people who are trying to pull you down, let's say.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, Anusha ma'am, we can close. I have reposted the attendance form, so we'll leave that open so that people are able to fill that before they exit.
Yes.
But we can proceed with closing the session.
Okay, sir. Sure. Yes. So first of all, I would like to say thank you for Manish sir and Sandeep sir for sharing such a beautiful, I mean, the very informative nuggets, I can say. So according to the research in one of a research which I studied in from a Times of India, 90% of a people, especially in India, have a low esteem. Actually, they suffer from this, and most of the time we doesn't know like how to recognize it and how to cope with it. And this is what actually one of a very important webinar where our students, especially the post graduation students, must be in, they were in a need of. And I thanks for Skilling India for organizing such a beautiful webinar and making our students to know much about it. And also thankful for the coordinator Anu, who actually coordinated very well. And I thank you for providing the coupons actually for my students. And yes, that's all. Thank you so much, Manish sir and Sandeep sir.
Welcome,
It is
ma'am,
our
and thank
pleasure.
you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So as we said earlier, a lot of these skills are learnable skills, even though they appear to be something which people are born with, but each of them can be learned. And I really would like everyone to learn these, how to manage stress, how to cultivate hope. There are so many of these things which are so easily learnable. With that, I want to thank all the participants on behalf of Skilling India, on my own behalf and Sandeep's behalf for joining this session. And it's an excellent turnout from the pool of people who registered. So thank you one and all.
Yes.
I'll have the screen share on for another 5 minutes so that people who have still not filled the attendance form can fill it. And we'll close the meeting after that. Those who have filled it, they can exit the meeting. Thank you.
ಇನ್ನು ಓಡ್ತೈತೆ